This is a video on how to place an IV catheter in a large animal. This will be a mixture of horse, cow, and goat. So what you will need is you will need a clippers to clip the area. You will need scrub and a rinse to clean the area. You will need HEP saline to flush your catheter and T-port. You would either need, for horses, you will need a needle with thread, 2/0 needle, and straight needle with thread. You'll need sterile gloves, and also you will need exam gloves. So what you would do is you would then, after you collect all your supplies, you would want to clip your area. Having exam gloves on, you would want to do a sterile scrub of the area. You first would put your thumb down or your hand down to make sure you were in the proper area, and then you would clip, and then you would scrub going where you're going to place your catheter, around and out and done, and then take your rinse and do the same thing, down and around. And again, you would take your scrub, down, around, going outward, never going back. And then you would take your rinse and do the same thing, and again 3 times. So, and proper technique would be to do it, pull out your left hand, use your right, and switch. So you're not touching the same area if your gloves happen to get dirty. So once you're done with that, you would then want to flush your T-port and catheter. You would probably I've already drawn up my HEP saline. And leaving it in the case, you would want to use your, take out the plug and fill it with HEP saline. Place that, open the rest of the way, and dump it on your sterile area. Your T-port would be in a sterile as well. You would open up the cap, flush, close it once you're flushed with your clamp so that the saline, HEP saline stays in. Undo it, put it, that does not necessarily have to be sterile but should stay clean. And then you want to glove. You will have somebody holding your horse, of course. And then you will glove. You will also have your suture laid out for you as well. You will then take your catheter out and loosen it from your stylet so it's easier, and have that ready. You will then be ready to place the catheter. Try and keep one hand clean and sterile at all times. Sometimes this is not easy, but to hold off, I would then hold off on the animal's neck. And right now, to make it easier, I'm just going to use my thumb, but I would actually usually hold my whole hand down at the level to do it. I would place the catheter in the proximal 1/3, middle third of the horse's neck or animal's neck. Not the lower 1/3 or the upper 1/3, the middle 1/3, but proximal. You would then hold off, place the catheter with the stylet, and once you see the flash, you would then advance a little bit farther And then once you're done with that, you would hold with your clean hand your catheter, hold your stylet, and put your catheter, advance your catheter forward. And then remove your stylet. If you don't think you're in and you don't get any blood, you could then put, with your clean hand, put your stylet back slightly so you could readjust.
Go ahead, just get it
Okay.
just right, and then we'll...
Okay, so once you're in and you have it, you will want to remove your stylet and apply your T-port, taking off the end and applying your T-port, making sure that the L of your T-port is away from the animal's head or throat area, so that is what you're going to do. Now, in the horse at this point, what you would do is you would take your straight needle 2/0 thread and do the same thing that I'm going to do with an 18 gauge needle. So you would do sub Q over by the T-port and go through either above or below, but you will do the T-port first. Taking your thread, you will thread your thread through the needle, going from the pointed end to the other end, and pull out. And then you will go lower from the L of the T-port, and again going the same direction. Thread through the needle, the sharp point, and once you see it at the end, you will pull out and you will make a cruciate and tie a surgeon's throw on this. And this is where a good time to practice your hand ties, and then tighten it. And this should be snug into the animal. Surgeon's throw and then a single throw. And cut it. And then what you will do, you will place another suture using the needle or your straight needle with your 2/0 at the juncture where you're underneath your catheter. Again, sub Q, going through. And this is only a single, simple interrupted suture. So you only have to go through once and tie it. As you notice, I'm not sterile at this point, which you do not have to be for this part. So you would do a surgeon's throw. You want this part of your catheter to be super snug. And then that was not a surgeon's throw, but you would do a surgeon's throw and then another single throw and tie it tight. And it should be very tight at this point. And then after you do this part, I would flush it to make sure that I'm in. And by flushing it, you will want to remove this cap, apply your hep saline, loosen your tie, draw back a little bit, and then apply solution into it, not doing the bubble. And then closing it before removing your syringe so that the hep saline stays in your T-port. And then you would take the T-port and suture it to the animal so that you can have access to it, but it's away on the neck.